sometimes we like to try to figure out our problems, but the problem with that sometimes is that we figure wrong. In John chapter 9, in the first couple of verses, the Bible tells us, now as Jesus passed by, he saw a man who had been blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, saying, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? They wanted to find a solution. They wanted to find an answer to what they saw was a problem. A man had been born blind. There was a theological thinking among many of the Jewish people that if someone suffered a physical problem, it was because God had cursed them, so to speak. God had laid that upon them as punishment for some kind of sin. That's brought out very vividly in the book of Job. But here, that same kind of thinking seems to be prevailing. And yet, we do have to stop for just a moment and remind ourselves that sometimes people do have physical problems. People do suffer physically because of sin. But that's not the case here. In fact, after the disciples of Jesus asked that question, he answers them with something that they probably were not expecting. They had boiled it down to two alternatives. It's the man or it's his parents. And Jesus' first words in response to them was, neither. Neither this man nor his parents sinned. No doubt they were really perplexed about that. But Jesus goes on to say, but that the works of God should be revealed in him. Now, there's something we have to stop and think about for just a moment here that man was thinking that Jesus is trying to correct. Man often thinks that if we have a problem, if there is a problem, a blind man, whatever it may be, we blame God. I don't think they were intending to blame God, but indirectly, they really were blaming God for the problem. And Jesus says, that's not the issue at all. Jesus said, God is going to use this situation. If God is part of this at all, he's going to use this situation to demonstrate his goodness and his works. You see, we have to kind of flip our minds upside down sometimes and view things in the way that is the opposite of conventional human thinking. It's not God's fault. And oftentimes there is not a human being to blame either. But can it be something that ultimately the works of God will be displayed and his glory shown? Let's see things in a better light.